Hi. May all your top decks be fire, my children.
Hello again! Welcome back to yet another episode of How Many Times Can Dan's Computer Die Trying to Load His Webcam and the various programs related to making it work. Yeah, I'm Dan. I'm the one in question. Today, we chronicle my adventures with my webcam being rejected by the software we use, the software rejecting the browser I use, the browser rejecting the update the software rejecting the browser told me I needed, and the software I first downloaded to do that crashing my desktop for a bit and then not doing it. So, progress, I guess. This time, no blue screen. So,
yeah,
we came out ahead. But joke's on me because this monitor goes blue when it doesn't have signal. So, I still did see a blue screen. So, I can't get away from it. But I'm Dan.
Yes.
Cameron somewhere. And joining us this month is...
Hi. Sorry, chat just was like, who is Jesus?
Yeah.
How's it
picture
going?
you posted earlier of you?
Yes.
I actually had to do a double take for a second. I was like, did he actually do a picture of Jesus, or is that him?
No. May all your top decks be fire, my children.
Yes.
And, yes, and B has in the back.
Oh,
so, you've probably heard of me sometimes. I say with all the hubris in the world, given that you are on our channel. Same thing with Cameron. Nathan, would you like to introduce yourself, or would you like us to introduce you?
You can introduce me. I can introduce myself. Hi. Well, hi. Yeah, there I am. My name's Nathan. I'm just a regular old guy from Toronto. I've been playing cEDH for about like a year now, and I like to brew some weird, janky shit.
Don't we all? You have also won, what, 4th place in the bake-off? Although I'm still grumpy about that.
Yeah.
The most beautiful, ethereal, fantastical dish I have ever seen made. It was...
that was fun. That was, I don't flex that muscle very often, but it was fun to flex it.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing more like that in the future as they do. I bet they'll do similar. Maybe not exactly that.
Yeah, I already have like a couple ideas of what I'd make for Vraska. I like to think about cooking for. Oh yeah, no, like should be some kind of like mushroom and like terrine, like a lot of offcuts, all the unwanted because she's the queen of the Golgari. And, like no, I can get inspired by that.
Man, I would eat some Vraska.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vraska. I'd make her dinner anytime.
I wouldn't try to, but I think that's because she eats human. And
it's worth it. Human. It's worth it.
So
I'm attracted to that energy.
I'd learn.
Of the 10 people, or of the 10 winners, you were the only one that submitted something that wasn't a pastry. And you put up steak tartare on a log with a knife and some skulls in the shot. That was beautiful.
Yeah. I like to make statements.
It was unreal beautiful. The presentation was off the charts. It was...
Yeah, I knew everybody was going in with cakes, and like I haven't flexed my pastry muscle like for about a decade. So I was just like, nah, there's the only way to do this is to just drop like, raw meat and bone on these fuckers.
Yeah.
Well, it worked. You had me drooling, and I think I have like 3 or 4 pictures saved on my phone plus the recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
do you have a year to make your own strawberry umeboshi? That should be fun.
Eventually.
Yeah.
And by eventually, I mean I won't, but I do know someone. So, yes. Actually, 2 people, because I know you.
Yes. So, all in all, you were... One of the big things that we really like with the month in review is being able to pull up interesting people in the community or interesting things, and
both. Yes,
both the Eldraine Bake Off as well as some brewing that we'll get to later, but then also you're just a crazy chef and you've helped a bunch of people with like buying knives and whatever for.
Oh yeah, no. If you want to help finding a grown-up knife, let me know. They're less expensive than you think they are, and to be honest, you're going to use them every day, like forever. Like so, it pays for itself.
Like I was doing research into the type of knife you use, and the one I had arrived at to get was like 3 times as expensive as the one you sent me and said, no, this is what I use.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, if you know a good place to look and you know where to find them, like just finding a good knife, like it's life-changing, but I have strong feelings about knives.
I hope to soon.
Yeah. Now, as we talk about the month review, we always talk about, did we have any fun games last month? Nathan, have you gotten any cEDH in this last month? Got any fun games to talk about?
I have. I've been on therapist mandated social time. So I've been making it out to Tuesday nights at Face to Face, and we've got a pretty decent like crew of cEDH players. Like the Into the North guys are there.
Okay.
And like we play like some great fucking games. Like it's just fun to go in of like a couple hours, and like people bring like their own spice, so we don't see a lot of like the over major like oppressive parts of the meta. We just see like, yeah, this is a Thrasios Tymna deck, but it's not that Thrasios Tymna deck, or like this isn't Opus Thief. This is, a brew. And like I was playing somebody last night, and like the pile of cards that were in front of me, I still wasn't exactly sure what was going on. But I'm like, are you running like Sigil Hulk with something else going on here? I'm like, I don't know, man. Oh, Dockside loops, like. Go, like I'm getting crushed here, but I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to piece this shit together. Like, what's happening? It's awesome. Like, oh man, I don't even care that some of these games like I get dunked on, but like just like, oh, shout out to Reed, Sick Robot. Like we were playing the other night because like I was about to like pop off with Kess, and like we counterspell war starts going off, and like. Man literally is like flashing in a spell seeker into a Aven Mind Sensor to try and find something off the top 4. Rips a Veil of Summer off the top, slams that shit down. And I'm just like hype. No, I've got nothing. I'm out of mana. I'm tapped out. But like, I don't care. I like go to my upkeep draw. I lose. Whatever. I'm going for a smoke. That was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love those games.
Yes. With Kess, I'm sorry. I'm loving Kess. But like I was playing yesterday, or not yesterday, Tuesday, and like my end step, my buddy flashes into Tormund's Crypt and like activates it to exile my consultation, and I'm like, oh shit! So like I flash back the consultation, naming Tainted Pact. It is the 7th card in the top of my deck.
Oh, you
so I'm
man.
Like I just got it. I'm like 6 goes up. I'm like yes, yes, and then whoo, nabbed and like exiled. I'm like whatever. I'm good. I don't care if I lose this game. That was the shit. Like in the end step, it was just like,
nice.
God,
keep it close.
Yeah. So, what about you guys? Have you guys had any like cool shit go down?
I was actually commentating for the Time Twisted cEDH tournament.
Yeah, how did that go? I'm really excited to hear about your experience doing that.
It was pretty fun. I was only able to do the first day, and I commentated for 3 or 4 rounds. There were a few delays. We had some tournament software that we basically had to kill the tournament and re-enter all the results because we had a bunch of people drop. But it turned out really well. There was a lot of variation, a lot more Kenrith than I expected. A whole lot more Kenrith, and apparently just a 5/5 beater that can be even bigger is pretty strong. And I was super happy seeing like 5 copies of Training Ground over that time period. I love that card. It is so fun to actually play and use, but it's something that nobody ever wants to counter. but you'll win so many games off of it. It's like, this is a card that might just net me 9-10 mana in a turn, or it could do nothing, but it's just a blue. Do you want to counter?
If you played against your Tastiger list, mental misstep every time. I don't care. I've seen what you do. Like, just go. No. You don't get this.
Yeah, the card is more similar to like Carpet of Flowers than it gets credit for.
Yeah.
It generates
so good. If it works in your deck, it works in your deck.
It generates like a third as much mana, but for one blue, that's still pretty solid. You don't have many 1 blue rituals.
Yeah, and it just happens all the time.
Assuming you build your deck for it or whatever.
Yeah.
But no, the tournament was great. In the end, what was it? Leptus was on Mad Farm, which was the weirdest thing in the world to hear. Apparently, he Angel Grace Adnaz into Sickening Dreams to blow the table up at one point on like a really early turn. So
Angel Grace Adnaz to Sickening Dreams. Yikes.
Yeah, you discard X cards, deal X damage to.
Man, that's like a vintage win condition. Well, not vintage. That's a historical cEDH win condition, I guess, is a better way to put it. But man, that's some old tech.
Yeah, there weren't that many super fast Flash Hulk wins. There was like 2 or 3 that I saw on day 1. But it's kind of the tournament was a bit more open. So the meta that you're getting, Dan, where you're just in like console grind midfest like crazy, was not there, which I was actually really happy with.
Yeah,
you saw a lot of flashes,
which makes sense because there were time constraints.
Yes, and it was
if time is a real thing, then you obviously can't play anything that my group is doing.
Yeah, I think there were in day 1. I think there were 1 or 2 rounds that went to time, went to turns, and then there were 2 or 3 pods that ended up getting draws due to timing out. And they were the super grindy games.
Yeah. It's a goofy choice to bring a really slow deck like that to a strictly timed. What was this? This was a competitive REL event, right?
Yes, it was competitive REL. It was 75 minutes. Then you had 5 turns. So turn 0 got the last turn.
Yeah. There's no chance I show up to an event like that with anything other than the most linearly proactive, correctly built lightning druid shell that I can come up with. Like, I am not playing a single piece of defensive interaction. I'm not playing anything that has to go beyond turn 2.
Najila?
She's way too slow for me. For a 75 minute event, if I'm not casting Flash to win or activating a Hermit Druid, like I'll
that's why I build my Najila Flash Hulk.
Yeah, well, your Najila, something like that would be closer. But even then, I don't even know if I want the jab of Najila. I'd rather just cast Flash on turn 1 and just win the die roll to win. You got as good a chance as I'm doing it that way.
Yeah.
But tournament meta breakdown is complex and is going to take more than the time we have. So let's move on.
Yeah, well, actually, you were talking about Flash Hulk, and I wanted to bring up something that had come up. Some people found a new Flash Hulk pile, which is really interesting because it's using Skill Borrower. Are you familiar with Skill Borrower at all, Dan or Nathan? Uh-oh.
No.
Only because I was told to look up this pile.
Yeah, I'm still not even sure how this works, but I love stupid Hulk piles, as we'll probably get into.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I need to know what this deck is.
So Skill Borrower, let's go through this because this is kind of a little crazy. Skill Borrower, play with a top card of your library revealed. As long as the top card of your library is an artifact or creature card, Skill Borrower has all activated abilities of that card. So what you get with a pile is Skill Borrower, Torch Courier, and Goblin Recruiter. So you get 3 in Skill Borrow, 1 for Torch for 4, and then 2 for Goblin Recruiter. Goblin Recruiter puts a Kiki Jiki on top of your library. And then you sack Torch Courier on Skill Borrower, give it haste, and now you have Kiki Jiki making. You have Skill Borrow, which is not legendary, making copies of itself, which the copies gain haste, and so you end up with like 1,000,000 tapped Skill Borrowers. And then the very last one, you copy Goblin Recruiter and you put Mog Fanatic on top. And Mog Fanatic says you can sack it to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. So now you have 1,000,000 tapped Skill Borrowers that just get to sack themselves.
Sick.
Now, the alternative line was if you have haste, you just Goblin Recruiter and you put Kiki on top and Mog Fanatic on bottom. And then instead of Torch Courier, you get Hapless Researcher. And then you just sack the Researcher to...
Draw your library.
Well, no, you sack the Researcher to draw Kiki Jiki and then Mog Fanatics on top.
Okay, that's boring. Give me the red cards.
Yeah. So, I mean, so it's an Is It Hulk pile. So you can dump this pretty easily in like a Timur deck if you want to. Or, but it's really hilarious. I like it. I like it a lot. And it's all old cards. That's the nice part about it.
Yeah, that is so slick.
Goofy Hulk pile. That might be the goofiest Hulk pile I've ever seen.
Hulk does some great things. Like, I know some people hate it, but I love just stupid Hulk piles.
Yeah.
Man, I want to be dying to stupid Hulk piles in my meta, please.
Like, I built a 5-color Flash Hulk Gates deck.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, the idea is, like, piggybacking off the whole Hermit's Breakfast CDC lines with, like, Fate Stitcher, but, like, dump your entire library into your graveyard using Hermit Druid. Then Dread Return, kick out Narcomoeba. Like, there's some legitimacy. Like, kick out Narcomoeba, Dread Return back World Shaper instead of, like, Labman or something.
To put all your lands...
And then flashback with Cabal Therapy, sack the
World Shaper.
Right. Bring back all your lands from your graveyard. Part of the pile would be Lotus Cobra. So when all those lands enter the battlefield, you get like 20 mana. Then you can like use that to activate Fate Stitcher, return that to the field, tap it, untap Maze's End, use that mana, bounce it back to your hand, and fucking you just lost to Gates.
You want to send me that list?
Yeah, it's on my tapped out.
Alright, cool.
Okay.
It also has Hermit Druid lines, so it's basically like a real deck with bad lands.
Because that sounds excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also just flashing World Shaper alone for like a ritual. Like it's just worth it. Like, I'd like a 2-mana instant speed Splendid Reclamation. Yes, please.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty cute.
For those not familiar with World Shaper, I'll just read this really quick. It's a 4-mana, 3/3, 3 and a green. When World Shaper attacks, you may put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard, and then when World Shaper dies, put all land cards from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. So that is a crazy utility piece right there. I'm digging that. I like that.
I love that when I used to play Casual Marin. It's just like, this card isn't fair.
Oh, yeah.
This card is not fair.
That totally makes sense. Oh, jeez.
Just sacking that, returning it every turn, attacking with it, just like, no. Green, why so OP?
Just,
I don't know. Let's ask 2019 real fast.
Yeah, like, seriously.
Yes, 2019. So, over the last, like, 2 years, WotC has really just been, like, cranking green
out of the game.
Well, they've been power creeping the game, but they've been cranking green really hard.
Yeah, it's specifically green. I like powerful cards, but like, don't give them all to the same damn color.
Yeah, give blue a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
Give white a few of them.
Yeah, there was a lot of talk about this month. Actually, there was a lot of talk about how much color pie stuff has been going on, and a lot of people were pissed off at white. Basically,
they're not
just
pissed off at white; they're pissed off for white.
Yeah. I mean,
it's getting shit on by Wizards.
Like Linden disappointed me. Like disappointed me.
It's green.
So
why's it gotta be green? We're just
one?
talking about white not drawing cards, and we get another Enchantress that's green.
Yeah,
Put it in white.
Yeah, the one that gets bigger on its own. I think the most telling thing is the creatures from Eldraine. Like, The
Tireless
legendary
Track of
greens.
Enchantress.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
that's
Questing
pretty much
Beast.
what it is. Yeah.
Questing Beast not being the best card in Standard is egregious.
So haste is like green's tertiary color.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
But please explain to me why green gets constantly good cards with haste when
I can
white
actually
doesn't get good, like its tertiary ability, which is draw cards. Like,
Yeah, so that's because of the way WotC, or at least historically, have defined what a tertiary color in the color pie is for. Typically, tertiary colors are for tournament balance, and so specifically, tertiary will often refer to the cards that they're pushing to try and like balance a format. So, a card like, let's use an older example, Strangleroot Geist from Innistrad Standard was specifically given haste because of the way it would combat planeswalkers in the meta, like Liliana the Veil specifically. So that card only has haste because of standard balancing. Green getting haste is designed to do tournament balancing. White getting card draw is designed for like color balancing, but in reality, they're not even trying because they're tacking all of White's card draw into the hybrid cards or into the 2-color cards. So, like,
yeah. Oh,
Teferi, 3-color Teferi is pretty much a mono blue card.
Yeah, 3 fairy. Yeah,
but they consider it blue white because the instant speed clause is like debatably in white at this point, and that's it. Like that's what they did to consider it a white card. So they said, "Oh yeah, Teferi's minus, that's on white." So they're like counting these things into white card draw, but it's just blue card draw. They're not actually giving white any sort of mechanical space in which it can exist in a functional way alongside the other cards.
It doesn't count when blue's attached to it because it's a blue card.
Exactly. So white's getting shafted for that reason.
Sphinx's Rev is a blue card that gains you life because it's white.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Oko is a green card because I guess because transmutation is now secondary in green, actually, which is also baffling.
Well, it's green just gets so constantly pushed that it starts like I'm brewing less with green right now because I'm kind of like salty about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you don't gotta tell me.
There's like a 1-mana cryptic command.
Yeah, not like a 1-mana cryptic command. Counterbounce, counter draw, not counterbounce.
Jeez.
Yeah, that card also bounce.
Like. Okay, another great topic to bring up, like when you want to talk about disparity and just some like common throwaways, the lands that are out of Eldraine.
Oh yeah,
those common lands. Mystic Sanctuary is not okay.
Fetchable Mystical Tutor.
I was on like maining Elsha when that card was like released, and I just flipped my shit. Like being able to fetch into that island to be able to throw a wheel back on the top of my library to flash it off at instant speed is the kind of spice that gets me up in the morning, but it's not okay.
Yeah. I'm really excited Cameron has time to pump out the Eldraine set review at some point, because you'll get to see a whether or not these cards were good take on whether or not these cards are good. And I'm pretty sure my analysis is like actually excellent this time.
Yeah, why couldn't the white one say when like it ETBs for the number of planes untapped, yada yada, you return a permanent with CMC 3 or less back to the top of your library, like a Sun Titan land? Why not?
I mean, why couldn't it just be a permanent? I mean, you've got blue doing an instant or sorcery. Why couldn't white do a permanent or do an artifact or enchantment?
Yeah, like, because I'd say permanent with CMC 3 or less, because that seems to be, like, where they like to put that Sun Titan effect in, like, Safine's Reclamation. Like, why not? Like,
here's the take. Why does tournament-relevant card draw have to be a color pie issue?
Why does drawing cards is a fundamental part of playing the game of fucking Magic? Like, you can't gate playing the game.
Yeah, just remove any interaction with card draw from the color pie. You can maybe flavor the card draw based on the color, but just give every color card draw. Just stop doing what you're doing. It sucks.
Yeah, I need like more alms collectory like things. Like if you greed out and draw like 5 cards, I need a way to be able to catch up. But but in the white way, that only because you broke the law, I get to bet where like there is some repercussions. Like I'd love to see some kind of spell like a white instant that says draw cards equal to the amount of target cards like target player has drawn this turn. So if someone greeds out and like draws 10 and you can like snap like gotcha. Like, why not?
Yeah,
it's just punishing greed.
Yeah,
and like it has a low end like leeching off a brainstorm. That's cool.
Yeah, that's definitely strong for eternal formats. It'd be really weak in standard though. Unfortunately, you draw like maybe.
I mostly care about commander, but that's only like an alms collector on an enchantment. Why can't that exist?
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah.
It like also why couldn't have mono blue Narset be mono white? But that's another argument.
Yeah, so
it's intercolor pie.
Yeah, I don't know why Narset was blue for that card. That card is mono white.
Yeah, and like you know, it's like it's one sided, and that's not necessarily fair for white. But in this one particular case, who gives a fuck?
It's also definitely not fair for blue either.
No, that is not a blue card. Narset is not a blue card.
The static ability.
Why'd you put in the wheels color?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea what they were thinking with Narset in terms of color pie.
Like white needs some asymmetrical stuff. Like why do they have to pay attention to the color pie so often when like Oko gets printed like every 4 years or like something stupid like that happens?
You could give white an ancestral recall in standard that you can only play if you're playing like no islands or something, and white would still be bad. I don't think if you just put ancestral recall in white in standard right now, the color's still terrible.
Like I was thinking, like if Crick was not of Yawgmoth, but like of Priest of Norn, and it was a mono white card, it would have actually given relevancy to like mono white life gain in a way that never would have happened before. Cards like Beacon of Immortality turn into like the biggest ramp cards, and like it would have given white a way to like turn their usually useless ability into mana. But even still, like it would be the most powerful, most interesting white commander, but there isn't enough card quality to win the game in mono white.
Yeah, but you got some good ideas.
So cool.
I like your brain.
I think about this shit like way too fucking much.
I wish the Wizards designers did.
Like, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so like thanks to Mike Majors and Melissa DeToro for saying on stream that you didn't test Oko's offensive transformation ability. Like clearly they don't think about any of this stuff as much as you do. And
I have no life and I spend about 8 hours. Well, whenever I'm at work, I'm listening to EDH content. I'm thinking about Magic. It's the only thing that keeps like the ADD at bay.
Well, that's good. That means you both spend the same amount of time every day thinking about Magic, but they're getting paid to do it and doing a worse job. I'm still on board with hiring you.
Well, maybe one day.
I agree.
So speaking of other intro topics, I hear there's a new channel with 4 videos and 8,000 subs. That's some pretty
casually competitive.
Yes.
They are awesome. When they came on the scene, it was just like, yes. Because I like where the space they operate in this kind of like mid-range between casual and competitive. Like they're still playing competitive decks, but they're like under their own like budget restraints or whatever restraints that they have themselves under. And
I can see why that's popular.
And like it occupies a nice little mid-range, and it's fun. I like to see if they start playing around with things. Like also they need to set up a Patreon. Like, just do that if you're on the. Just do that, please.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm excited to see what they do. Going forward.
Next up, we're going to talk about some stuff from Playing with Power.
My guys! I love those guys.
I see that they played some cEDH with Sheldon. The Sheldon.
Yes.
The one who has had an enormous amount of opinion change on competitive Commander in the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Playing a game of cEDH, that is I'm impressed.
This has been a big year for cEDH, and it's been fun watching it happen. Like, I think Shivam is probably one of the first major people that like really got on board with us and started like realizing that we were a different part of community than the pub stompers that he originally thought he was, and then he started talking to everybody else. And now I think they're starting to listen, which is really cool.
Yeah. There's been a really big I don't know, inertia or like mental image that we've been having to get through, and I think we're finally doing that to the point where cEDH on its own is not a boogeyman and it's not a bad thing. It's just it's a different way to play, and some people really enjoy it.
Of sorts.
It's a meta, definitely.
It's also my favorite meta. Like when I was playing EDH for a year before I found about this meta, and I almost left like a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but then I found that there was people that just were like, no, we turn things to a 11 here, and I was just like, no, this is what I want to play.
Mm-hmm. You get to take everything and push it just a little more without
a little more. Like when you spend 8 hours a day listening to like EDH content and like, you know, double backing on every single like command zone podcast on how to like, you know, build a deck, and like this is all you think about all day. Your decks have a tendency to turn out a little bit more tuned.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
No way. Thinking about what you're doing means you do it better.
I know, and people wonder how, like, you know, I cook for a living. It's just like, you know, it's kind of like the same damn thing.
Oh, wow, maybe you think about it and do it.
Just think about it a little. Like I'm not like the biggest brain guy around. Like I season food appropriately for a living, but like, you know, I understand enough about myself that I just like sit down and think about it for a minute and don't assume you're right and just work on it, ask for opinions, and just like think about it for a little bit. But I don't know, maybe I'm just fucking weird.
Nah, the ability for any random human to brute force just about anything they need to with hard work is an undersold human ability.
That's how my restaurant stays standing. Like me and my buddy Dave, like
you just do it.
He just like puts me in my position. I'm like, okay, I'll just keep the Atlas going, and you just run everything else.
Yeah, I mean, that's how stuff works. Someone's got to put their nose to the grindstone.
Yeah.
So when you do it, turns out your nose gets pretty polished and looks excellent.
Thank you.
Or in this case, your decks and knives and food.
Yeah, my decks and my yeah. That was still like such a big like everybody's gonna make cakes, raw meat. Fuck it.
Yeah, I loved it. I wanted to lick that shit off the log.
Yeah, I was just like
and plate.
I was
and
like
everything.
Trying to like impersonate like a murder scene in this thing. Like I was like this is like sacrifice. This is blood. This is like Golgari cooking. This is like I was smearing beet tartare on there to make it look like beet tahini on there to make it look like a blood stain, and then smacking raw meat and a knife on it. Just like Merry
That was
fucking
why
Christmas.
I loved it though. It was Shakespearean fairies.
Yes.
Yeah, like
it was excellent. Oh my god! But I should stop talking about your cooking still.
Yeah.
Cobble's latest Yarok article got posted. This is his second one.
I can't wait till you guys do a deck tech on this thing so I can finally understand what the fuck is happening.
Well, it's changed like 4 times, and I'm not even sure what the core strategy is anymore besides playing Elvish Visionaries and Lotus Cobras and also Arboreal Grazers. So
yeah, basically it's anything that interacts with lands entering or leaving play and ways of forcing lands to go back to your hand or to everybody's hand, and it hurts. So
it's like overburden the deck.
Overburden and mana breach.
Yeah.
Whenever a player plays a spell, they return a land.
What did you guys do to him?
Oh no, this is all Cobble. This is most of the stuff he had in Chateau.
You want to know what we did to him? We dumped on him because
I know,
like dove into us like 3 or 4 times and got eviscerated. He had a turn 1 mana bond, put 6 lands into play, draw that many cards because he like already or turn 2 mana bond, already got Takyova out, and still didn't manage to do anything. Like we crushed his initial iterations on this concept so thoroughly. that
But
he was
you
like,
deserve
all right, well, I
this.
guess I should beat all of them this time.
But
and then
now-
he shows up with Yarok and smacks us around.
Oh, geez.
Oh, you deserve this. This is good.
We didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't win a single game against Yarok when I played with him. Like
Yeah,
it is.
I did.
You did?
Yeah, I won
It was
the first game.
Yeah,
I won
you
the
did,
one
yeah.
game we played in person. That was like the only game I won that weekend besides the
Oh.
one we played with Power.
I ended up playing like
Just those two.
3 or 4 games with him on Yarok, and it hurt. Like it was so like it was always like I just need one more land in play, and then somebody would cast an Adnaz, and I was the only one that could counter it. And so I was like, all right, I counter it. I pick at this land.
Yes,
Looks
I'm
like I'm
back to 2 lands.
yeah. Look, we were on like
Oh.
turn 8, and there were I had 2 lands in play,
Yeah.
and I had like 3 in my hand. It was the worst.
You
But-
feel
I've
like
resolved an overburden once, and like I can't tell you how good that makes me feel.
Oh,
Like
Yeah.
I'm that person.
Mana Breach games are games in which you have to decide if you want to lose now or lose in 4 turns when you don't have the mana to stop anyone anymore. Like, you
Yeah.
can't play mid-range into these decks. You will get outvalued. You need to be more proactive, is what I have arrived at. Or you need to go the opposite direction and just slam
So
Magic
is
Mirror
is
and,
is this like the
go from there.
beginning of the loop where now we've got things that are starting to prey on mid range?
No, because the best strategy that we have found, at least in my play group, so I built the Yarok deck and I started playing it into my play group as well, and the best counter to it was to go even farther.
Oh, Jesus.
That's why I'm playing Magic Mirror. Similar effects to that. Like,
Oh, jeez.
going faster still doesn't work because the 3 other players still just have 80 pieces of interaction. So even
That's why
though everyone's
I-
lands are getting bounced, you still can't interact. So you have to just go over the top and play 9 drops that draw you 12 cards a turn because that's where the game gets to.
Oh, good God.
I do kind of like this that we're kind of like we're almost back at Battle Cruiser.
Yeah,
It's
it's
stupid.
almost.
Oh, easily.
So when am I going to be able to like resolve Rise of the Dark Realms? When can I cast that card?
Go for it.
I mean,
It's
Oh,
like I'm
if
here
you're-
winning games with Nicol Bolas Dragon God. You can
I
do
won
whatever the hell you
one
want.
game with Nicol Bolas Dragon God, and
Did
it
you?
was so great. It was
High
just
five.
like, this is worth it. Yes.
I think
Yeah.
this is the middle of the camera.
yeah,
Smack.
yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm on a second delay, so I don't know what's up.
Yeah, we both are.
All right.
Okay, so that's
so-
Yarok. Oh my goodness, I get to click and blind review.
Yeah, we are. So I have not looked at this.
This
at
is
all.
what I love.
Cobble sent us a list not too long ago, which is Shadow Bag Storm. I'm gonna put this link in chat.
This is a
And-
cobble deck?
This is a Cobble deck. I have not looked
I'm-
at this yet. He sent
I'm
this
not
out
high enough
like
for this.
a week ago. So
Oh my god.
Why don't we
this
look
is
through
what
this?
he's doing with Bone Miser. This is what he's doing with Bone Miser and Wish Claw Talisman. This motherfucker's playing a Springleaf Drum?
Bone Miser.
Oh, there's
What the
the
hell
bag.
is this? Whenever you discard
Okay.
a creature
What
card,
the
create a
fuck?
2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever you discard a land. So what the hell? This is this is waste
Bone
not
Miser?
for yourself.
Yeah, it's waves not for yourself.
Oh
I am
man,
so
I have
mad
not
at
seen
Cobble.
this.
This
Okay.
description is unacceptable. It's just a movie trailer. It is not helpful.
What's the description on this?
It's just a picture of like this Microsoft Paint movie trailer.
Oh Cobble. Oh Cobble.
Dab done it.
He's playing Traverse the Elvenwald and Mausoleum Secrets and
All right.
Shadow of the God. What is happening here?
So let's actually try to figure this out. I'm still trying to understand all the card. Archfiend of Ifnir.
So
Whenever
he's
you
playing
cycle or discard a
Yarkapatra.
card. Okay, so what are the combo
He's playing-
pieces? We've got a bag of
this
holding.
So this is his Necro bag, but
Oh,
in
okay.
Golgari.
Okay, so
This is
Necro bag.
Okay.
Let's explain
Oblivion
this.
Necro bag with yeah.
Let's explain this. So Necropotence is a triggered ability. You pay all your life. You put a ton of cards in your hand, and then at your end step, you discard the cards. Now, there is a trigger to exile any card that you've discarded. But Bag of Holding says whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard, and then you can pay 4 and sack Bag of Holding to return all the cards exiled this way to your hand. So you necro for a ton of cards while you have Bag of Holding out. And then in your end step, you've got 2 triggers on every card that's discarded. One of them is Necro Exile, one of them is Bag of Holding Exile. And so you just put the Bag of Holding Exile on top, and all those cards get exiled to Bag of Holding, and then you put them back in your hand later.
Gangster.
Yeah. Okay, so he was playing with this with Anya, and now he's on Hepatra. Oh, God.
So, for those of you who aren't aware of Cobble's brewing tendencies, he fixates on an idea. And that idea is necessarily color independent. It might be tied to exactly the colors relevant. So in this case, he's been on a Necropotence Bag of Holding kick.
Yes.
And so he brewed up Anya because he was like, this makes logical sense. I can do this discard thing and play like a 20 card deck. And so he brews Anya. And then he's like, oh wait, I want to try this in green-black because Necropotence Bag of Holding is just black, so I can do whatever I want. So now he's on Hepatra, an Archfiend of Ifnir with like Yawgmoth.
Raven's Crime! Oh God, Raven's Crime! I love that. He's playing some
stuff. Oh, there's a Vona's Hunger in here. Oh my God.
Ascend. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. If you have the city spell seeding instead, each opponent sacrifices half the creatures your G controls rounded up. At 3-minute instant, that's not bad.
No, it's a card.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not the worst. That was one of the cards I think we would have. Oh, no, we didn't do a set review for that set.
Yeah,
there was basically nothing. There was maybe Nessie and maybe that card.
Yeah,
that was my first set.
I think
That was the first set I started playing Magic. Was Rivals of Ixalan.
Well, you've had steady power creep since you started.
You could say that.
All right. Well, that's enough about green-black Anya. We already covered the Skill Borrower Hulk pile. We already covered that White sucks and also WotC sucks. New cards / products from WotC ? Secret Lair.
Yes.
Success, but not what LGS has wanted. I haven't seen this.
Yeah, so
let's see what LGS is.
So one thing of note was this popped up. And one of the comments from the actual owner was down further on. Now, what's notable about this is Wizards Keeps Games, and this is Magic the Seattling. This shop is on. It's 15 minutes from Wizards HQ. This is the shop that Sheldon Menery was playing at when he was in town. This is a shop that Scott Larrabee is at almost regularly for EDH. He's closing in February. And he said Secret Lair was the last straw. Now, way further down in this this thread, he actually talked about...
Oh, here it is.
Yeah. He actually talked about... he talked about how, like, last year they got... I mean, every year for, like, Black Friday, they've had some sort of holiday product. And they've had something that was really good that made the LGS actually get sales. So he's like... 2017 he pulled in like 6 or 7k on Black Friday. 2018 he pulled in like 8k on Black Friday, and this year he pulled in $800. And what? the big product that WotC announced that they could actually sell, they were doing direct to consumer, and they weren't going through LGSs, and they weren't going through I mean, they were going direct to consumers through Hasbro Toy Shop, and they were not going to LGSs.
Secret Lairs were direct to consumers?
Yeah.
Holy shit! I had no idea.
Yeah. So Secret Lair, you could only buy it for a 24.
LGSs.
Yes, 100%.
God.
Yeah. So Secret Lair, it was incredibly successful. You could buy a drop for 24 hours, and they said as long as you bought it in that 24-hour period, you would get it. They had the first one, which was all of them in one for like $200, and they had the rest of them were like 30 or 40 bucks a piece. And essentially the whole thing is like, you look at Bitter Blossom, OG Bitter Blossom's like $45, and they sold a boxed Bitter Blossom for $30.
Foil Bitter Blossom too.
New art. And so they are profiting off of a second market while also undercutting the secondary market,
which is terrible.
And,
well, it's brilliant, is what it is, but it's awful sustainable. This is man. Now I'm actually starting to lend credence to that rumor that Rudy started that Wizards was being prepped for a sale by Hasbro.
I mean,
this is actually kind of scary.
If Wizards, like, to be honest, Wizards being its own company and not being part of Hasbro would probably be the best thing in the world for us.
No, not spun out as their own company being bought by someone else.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, they are a profit center pretty heavy. But yeah, so Secret Lair, according to WotC, was a giant success. It will continue. We will see more things like that in 2020. But LGSs are like, I mean, we just got nothing. So,
like, I don't get that. Like, personally, when I started playing Magic, I got caught up in the booster box buying game to like get chase cards, and it took me. I wasted so much money, and it was like literally a gambling problem that I developed, just like cracking booster after booster to get like a $5 fucking card, and I was just stupid for some reason, and just kept like it took me a while to snap out of it. But like, if that was the only way that Wizards wants to sell cards, I'm not buying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I like you want to EA me, you want to 99-cent me, you want to like loot box me. I'm not playing that game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like without an LGS, without being able to go and buy the specific card that I want, I'm much less interested in like continuing this endeavor of Magic.
Yeah,
like I just don't want to be caught up in that because like I don't want to be susceptible to just like wasting money just trying to get like one card that I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I stopped doing booster boxes a really long time ago. I used to open a ton. I opened so many. I think in 2008 to 2009, I think I probably cracked 3 or 4 cases of boosters.
Oof. Yeah, I feel you.
Wait, 3 or 4 cases?
Yeah.
Oh, god damn. I don't think I've opened...
I was at the point where I was getting booster boxes for like $70-$75 a pop.
Still?
Yeah, they're still about 120 here after taxes. And
yeah.
I don't think I've even opened more than 3 boxes worth of packs in my entire life.
So I know when Zendikar came out, I bought 1 booster box initially. I tied the pre-release out of 72 people. I split first place and walked away with like 45 boosters. And then after they announced that they had like the hidden treasures and the guy that I split with cracked a Mox Diamond and a Tropical Island, I was like, I'm going to go buy a few boxes. And I think I stopped buying at like 4 or 5 boxes of Zendikar. So yeah, no, there were times where I bought a lot of boosters. And it totally is. It 110% is a loot box. It is a crate. It's crazy. And so now the only boosters I really open are ones that people give me.
Are they loot boxes or are loot boxes digital packs?
Yeah.
Because 1990 came way before loot boxes.
That's true.
93 or whatever.
Well, now you got Arena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's enough time for me to be disappointed about how much I hate WotC growing by the day. Let's talk about more sets.
Yes.
So we're going back to Theros, because why not?
Yes.
So what are we talking about? Just like the trailer? Are we talking about spoilers? What do you want to cover with this?
Well, that trailer was so cool.
Oh god,
like,
yeah.
I don't like I get really into Magic. Like this is like my only hobby. Yeah, like I'm sorry.
No way.
But like I'm also like Vorthosy, and I totally get into like the story of this shit. So like that trailer, just like that was so hype.
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you give me a 2-sentence recap of it? Because I didn't watch it. I didn't know they made trailers for sets until just now.
2-sentence? Basically, Elspeth looks like she's going to like try and pass over, and like she sees like a version of her like as a small child. It's all like after Realmy shit. Ashiok shows up. Great scene change into an underwater scene. Looks like Elspeth is being like dragged down into like some kind of hellscape, and like she's drowning, and it's graphic. She's drowning. Yeah. And then she's drowning. And then just like boom, like
her
she's back, and I'm
ignites,
just like, or spark ignites. I'm like, I honestly am so excited for like Theros for one major reason. I need Elspeth to rip Heliod out of the fucking sky.
Yes, please.
He needs to die so goddamn hard.
So her spark reignited?
Or so,
Yeah,
well,
like ignited again. I think it's also where like, and this is where like magic, like I do get down about it, but where shit starts getting me really hype is like that trailer also fits in where there's a new mechanic, like the escape, where you can like constantly bring her back from the dead, and like seeing her spark reignite, like like what's up with Elspeth? Like her card is reflecting the way that like they're displaying her.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, what is it about her? Like, like she keeps coming back, and she's not happy this time. Like I was almost expecting a red-white card. But
I was expecting black-white because that's
what because
that's what the returned were.
Yeah.
I'm actually baffled that she's mono-white.
Well, as soon as they spoiled, like you basically knew we were going to Theros as soon as they did the that Elspeth Planeswalker, like the new art in the whale series. But you got the art up for the new Sun's Nemesis. Like that, like she's back.
Yeah,
that bitch is back. Like mono white can still be angry. It's like she's justified. Like she got done wrong.
Yeah, Heliod is a butthole.
Oh yeah, no, it's about to get explored. She's got a big stick for it.
Good. I'm ready for that. I think I'm most excited for that Ashiok masterpiece, though. Oh my god,
it looks so beautiful.
I just wanted another playable Ashiok.
Oh, that Ashiok is great. They can't all be phenomenal 3-drops. I'll take a solid mid-range casual.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I've just like War of the Sparks spoiled me. Like originally I was not a Planeswalker guy. Now I'm running cast Planeswalkers. I'm just like shut up.
Yeah.
Ashiok also spoiled us. Ashiok did have 2 phenomenal 3-drops in a row, which like hasn't happened to any Planeswalker.
Yeah, they haven't stayed at the same and been so relevant.
Yeah.
No, it was really solid.
Like they're both excellent.
Now, also with that, we got spoiled on some freaking beautiful full art lands.
Yeah, they're nice. They're growing on me.
Yeah, I'm really like having to tell myself that I don't want to buy like 20 foils of each of these.
The swamp, really the purple on it is like rich. It's nice.
I mean, these are Nyx Starfields. I mean, I like them. I like them for what they are. They're really great.
I am disappointed by them because they are so very reminiscent of the nicest set of altered basics I've ever seen, and I have not been able to re-find these images. So picture the Starfield, like the size of the mana symbol there, yeah. But it is relief foil of a full art land of that type of some sort, and the rest is blacked out with very thin geometric foils. So you have this matte black card with a foiled cutaway, like negative space of the actual art, with very thin, simple foil, not colored foil, like very thin geometric, delicate patterns around it. And these Starfield ones, like they're great. They're beautiful. I like them a lot. But for me, they are a total flop because they're almost the best basics I've ever seen in my life, but they're not quite there. So
do you want to not unsee anything? I can tell you something, but you probably will never stop seeing it if I do.
Oh, go for it. Is it a dick in the castle? I've seen that before. Oh, okay.
These are Skyrim perks.
No, yeah, that one I knew already. Yeah, that was like the level 0.
Yeah, the forest really does look like the Skyrim perk tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But
yeah, you won't unsee it now.
Yeah, I am ecstatic that they are continuing to play around with basics, and they are not doing the same straightforward basics as well as the same straightforward overplayed full art. Like, while these may not meet my expectations because of what I have had in the past, I love that they're doing things like this, and I want them to continue. I'm pleased with these.
I am too. And
that's a good way to make packs relevant.
Yeah.
It would. Yeah.
Not as pleased as I am with Soul Advocate Eternal, though, which might be the strongest commander ever printed.
Yes.
Even though there's only 5 copies, 4 copies, 20 copies.
So they printed Heroes of the Realm cards. They make them, and there's 2 that are just brokenly good. Soul Advocate Eternal It's basically Atraxa, but way better. Legendary creature, Dragon Angel. It's green, white, blue,
undersold.
black. Legendary partner. You can have 2 commanders if this is one of them. The other one is promoted to legendary.
So does it make like a non-legendary creature legendary?
Yes. You can have literally any creature in Magic partnered to Soul Advocate Eternal as your second commander. And there's more text. It's also a 4/4 flying vigilance that
has teamwork whenever
with both Soul Advocate Eternal and his partner support 4 and investigate 4. All right, so it's basically legendary partner. Just kidding. But it's got beautiful art. It's like this big ass goat man angel thing.
That looks like an Anne Rice cover.
So of note, Dan, what you missed is that if you attack with both Soul Advocate and its partner, you get to put 4 counters, 4+1/+1 counters on it, and you also get to put 4 clue tokens out. So it is not only a clock; it is also card draw.
Oh yeah, okay.
Investigate 4 isn't actually card draw though.
4 years it'll be legal.
It's
I
don't know. Either way,
functionally reprinted in 4 years.
Bananas card.
It is
going
bananas.
To acquire one eventually,
and
it's probably gonna. I remember the quoted price for Moto was $20,000 for the one that was going to get sold. So it's going to be a few years.
The other one, Legend of the Arena, the saga that can be your commander that puts wizards into play, and then the third one is you go get a planeswalker, and it enters with additional loyalty equal to the number of wizards you control. And it's Jeskai Walkers as a saga. And it's stupid. It's crazy.
It is. The Heroes of the Realm cards are always sweet. Moto was one of my favorites.
Shaper made something about that.
Yeah.
Moto?
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
It's the Momir Vig emblem, so it's bananas strong.
Yeah.
When you control what you're getting, obviously. So anyways, Heroes of the Realm card. Those are cool. So we are entering our final half hour. So
let's move on to our audience topics.
Yeah.
The other items are kind of not so important.
Irrelevant.
Yeah. Let's say,
how is the increase of cEDH commanders in recent sets affecting the format, and is it a good thing? Nathan, you got a take on this question?
I think more options is more better, to put it as bluntly as possible. Like, I only play cEDH. I only see the top relevant cards occasionally, like when they come up. But finding different ways of finding a commander and pushing them to like the nth degree as far as they can go is exactly why I play EDH. It's why I play cEDH. So just being like finding a new card that's just printed and being like, oh, that can be fucked up if you do this, and then trying to do it is like why I play this game.
Makes sense.
I just like them to be in some different colors than Sultai.
There it is.
Yeah.
Cameron, what do you think?
I really enjoy the fact that we are no longer in the 4-way Thrasios and Tymna mirrors. Like, for a solid maybe 6 to 9 months, it was really frustrating when I was the only person at the table that wasn't on Thrasios and Tymna. And it was, I mean, they're really strong. They still are really strong, but I really like the fact that like Kess is a really solid option, and now Kenrith is amazing. And the fact that we're working on things like Tymna and Crown, and you can have an EDH deck that doesn't have green and still be really strong. And the fact that you don't have to have a combo outlet in the command zone is really nice. That we have decks where we don't need that. We've grown past that. We've grown past Thrasios as a crutch with Tymna as the amazing engine, and now we have Tymna as the amazing engine and other things. Or we have Kess, or we have Kenrith, and we also
admittedly that's why the games are all going to 3 hours. So
everybody does have card draw, and everybody has a ton of answers. That's true. However, it's nice being able to see that, but then we also still have Frog. Frog's still around, and you still have to deal with that occasionally. You still see San, not as much. I really haven't seen Selvala in forever and a day, though.
That's because she's kind of garbage.
She has definitely fallen off, but we're getting new and different things, and I really do appreciate that.
Well, like at Uncommon, we got Sir Conrad, right? And that's basically a 4 horseman commander.
It is.
And like just Mesmeric Orb, Eldrazi Shuffler, and like a Basalt Monolith, and GG.
That is very true.
Yeah.
And that is really cheap to do.
I guess
it almost pays for itself.
Commander.
Like if you in mono black, when you have the kind of consistency and the tutoring to be able to find the pieces to put together, and it is a Basalt Monolith, which is a good card. It's an okay card. It's a mana rock. It's a mana rock, and
it's
then
better than Cedici at this point.
Yeah, and just go nuts tapping that like crazy and just kill everybody. Like, and that's an uncommon.
Cast your 5-drop and A+B instead of cast your 5-drop and then try and storm off in mono black.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
that's a good point.
Why not? Like and that's what brings me to like what is or is not cEDH. Like if it's ready to party, it's ready to party. Let's go.
Yeah.
I agree on that quite a bit. Yeah.
Next
That's
up,
a solid answer.
how should I evaluate new cards to determine if they should have a slot in my cEDH deck? For example, Drown in the Loch. Cameron, what do you think? How do you do this?
The first thing I do is I try to find like cards. And so you're looking at example of Drown in the Loch. You're looking at 2 mana counter spells. And this can be a hard counter, and then this can also be a piece of removal. And you usually look at it for its primary usage. Tacking on extra stuff is nice, so Drown in the Loch has the ability to also be a terminate, but you're primarily looking at it as a black-blue counterspell. So you look
Maybe you are. It's definitely a Doomblade more than it's a counterspell for me.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, when I put
those modes. That's
it's
why
got
it's a good
the
card.
modes. Yeah, that's why it's got the good card, but the slot in the deck for me is a counterspell. It's not a slot for removal.
But I find that's like a sign of like a good card is like it is a counterspell to you, but it's also removal to him.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think. Yeah. Evaluating it as one slot is strictly incorrect in my opinion.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's almost like too good to be like it's on. If it hits the floor, you can kill it. If it's in the air, you can kill it.
Yeah,
you can kill it. No matter like if something needs to go, it needs to go.
Yeah.
Like so, I approach card package constraints differently than you, I think, because I'm building each package of interaction as its own thing, and the more I can create links between the packages to use a card in multiple, the more I am increasing the efficacy of the deck. So it's not a counter spell. It's not a removal spell. It is a counter spell and it is a removal spell. And it gets to be both simultaneously, which is why I value it, because it is one card that fills 2 slots in my deck, as opposed to...
It also, like, a lot of the, like, what I've found in the current metas that I've been dealing with is you don't always want to waste a counter spell on something, but you might want to get rid of it later when it hits the ground. And like how your counterspell is not going to do anything with when it's in your hand and nothing's on the stack, but Drown in the Loch remains relevant whether or not the thing has like, do I get rid of it now or do I get rid of it later? Yeah, which I think is pretty cool.
So what I skipped a few things in my logic lines. My removal suite was incredibly tight. My removal suite, like, you don't have everything is better than that. It's either cheaper or it hits more things.
Fair.
But it is a piece of removable. Counterspell suite, there are holes. So there's things like if you are running delay, or you're running negate, or you're running if you really were running Essence Scatter, I hope you aren't.
Yikes.
Or you were running Arcane Denial.
Yikes.
That's a 2-mana counterspell. And Arcane Denial is unconditional, Delay is unconditional, but it comes back.
Yeah.
And Negate only hits non-creature spells. So comparing Drown in the Loch to Negate, you have a harder mana cost, and you have a condition on
the condition
what you can
is
counterspell.
Yeah. Harder by like maybe a 1/10 of a Moe's hardness scale. Like black blue versus colorless blue is basically the same.
True. But then
or green blue.
Then the next step is saying, all right, I've got a negate. what am I most likely negating in a game? And what is the realistic chance of what I'm negating also being hit by Drown in the Loch by them having 1, 2, 3, or 4 cards in their graveyard? Because if you're most likely negating a 2-cost spell, they're probably going to have 2 cards in their bin already. Either it's going to be a cantrip or it's going to be a land that they fetched. They're going to have 2. You can pretty much, by the time you have blue and black ready, you can assume they're going to have 2 cards in their bin almost all the time. And so you can say, am I negating things? Is the chance at countering creatures that important at 2 mana or at 2 CMC over negate? And then once you're further into the game, Drown in the Loch just blows negate out of the water unless there's Grave Hate, at which point you're kind of reset, or there's a twister, you're reset. But the way to evaluate that new card with a new mechanic is you compare it to similar lines and you look at your use cases. So if you're looking at Drown in the Loch, the way I look at it is every time I see negate in my hand, I also ask, what if this was Drown in the Loch? And then like, now you're like, okay, well, I just negated this spell. Could I have also drowned that spell? I could have. I had the mana. They had the cards in their graveyard. Now that Drown in the Loch could have been something to kill that Notion Thief. And yeah, it actually could have killed the Notion Thief. And I also could have countered the Wheel of Fortune. So either way, if I wanted to interact, if it was a Drown in the Loch, I could have interacted it more times because I could have killed the Notion Thief before, rather than interacting with the wheel on the stack. So
that's why this is a thinking process that we all sit around and hum and spend like 2 hours making one cut.
yes.
Yeah. A note to what Cameron said, don't just nod and think, yeah, that makes sense about the whole, like, when you draw negate, think about if it was Drown in the Loch. When we say that, literally write it down every time it happens. If you're trying to do actual thorough slot evaluation, every time you see one of 7 cards you're considering cutting for a card, write it down, write the game state down, write what you could have done with the other card down, make your notes. Like, actually do these things. Really do these things. Don't just think about it, say, yeah, conceptually that makes sense and I can see why people do that. Actually do it for yourself. It makes a big difference.
And then the entire time you have that card in your hand, every time you're doing your threat assessment or your board state analysis, say, what would have been if it was this other card? And so you can say, well, my line of play would have been different here. And did I win the game anyways? Did I lose? How does it go? And so that's how you that's how I at least look at new cards. And Drown in the Loch is a really great one because it has a really high upside and it's got a really kind of a bad downside, but it's also incredibly flexible. So if you can run it, you probably want to run it, but you still have to be wary about when you use it and whether you actually can run it. So like some people in chat have said, yeah, it's really great unless you're running Rest in Peace and Leyline of the Void. Yeah, don't run it because you're not expecting your opponents to have any cards in their graveyard, and
also,
it's going to do that.
Actually,
away from me.
As a Rest in Peace player running Drown in the Loch in the same deck alongside Magic Mirror, they're still all great. Just do it anyways. The cases. So here's one way to consider those niche cases. If you're doing the thing that invalidates one of your cards, if you're invalidating more cards of your opponents, it's still worth it.
Still good.
If playing Rest in Peace says this Drown in the Loch is a dead card, all right, so I have 1 for 1 to myself and I have 1 for 12 the table. So I'm coming out plus 10 cards. Like you're still fine. It's okay for occasional non-bows when the non-bow dominates the table. So keep all that in mind too. Let's keep moving on. Let's actually skip number 3 because I want to talk about Hippo Hulk mulligans thoroughly.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
So, for our
Hippo
mulligan
Hulk
of the day, we have chosen the, I don't know, I guess the deck that gave Nathan his meteoric rise to prominence in the cEDH community.
Yes.
Hippo Hulk.
The Hulk.
Someone is going to post a link. Cameron posted a link. So, our pod order. 1. Food Chain First Sliver. 2. Thrasios and Timna Consultation Scepter. 3. Hippo Hulk. I know, we're third. It happens sometimes. We're going to try it. for Kenrith Hulk. And we don't know the specifics on the kind of Hulk in the Kenrith. We just know it's Kenrith Hulk. So, let's do the thing.
All right, so I've pulled our first hand. Let me read through this so people can hear it. Windswept Teeth, Mystic Remora, Altar of Bone, Teferi, Mage of Zalfir, Avacyn's Pilgrim, Miri's Guile, and an Elvish Mystic.
If Teferi wasn't in the hand, I'd consider it.
I see you there. So let's go over the plus sides of this. We've got 2 mana dorks, we've got a Mystic Remora, and we've got a Miri's Guile. So we've got mana dorks, card draw, and draw manipulation. The downside is we only have 1 land.
Yeah.
And
Teferi is a little greedy.
Teferi is a dead card in hand.
Yeah.
And so in reality, if we kept this, my opinion would be is we'd Windswept Teeth into a trop, and then we'd cast the Mystic or the Pilgrim, and then we wouldn't drop the Remora until turn 2, just straight up. Unless we top deck a land, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
This is your deck, Nathan. What are your thoughts?
I'd mull it.
You'd mull it. I'm leaning there too.
I'd throw this thing in the trash can.
I have a tendency to mull really aggressively in like Hulk decks.
Okay.
Especially because of like the way the mulligan works.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can draw. Yeah, I can draw into like on my third hand. I can draw into Hulk pieces and put them on the bottom of the library.
Yeah.
Without having to worry about it. So like, I have started so many games with like being perfectly happy at 5 to 6 cards, and drawing up to 6 or drawing up to 7 on the first turn.
All right, let's mulligan.
That's also one of the worst Mystic Remoras you could ever have. This pod is so dork heavy that Mystic Remora is probably going to be spend a blue,
do nothing,
no effect.
Mm-hmm. All right, this hand is trash. Next up, let's say Soul Ring, Narset's Reversal, Counterspell, Sidisi's Faithful, Waterlogged Grove, Thrasios Triton Hero, and a Tarnished Citadel.
I don't like it.
Yeah. So there we are at 7. So we're going to London this, and we're going to be putting a card on the bottom. Dovin's Veto, Exotic Orchard, Sylvan Tutor, Elvish Mystic, Gilded Lotus, Utopia Sprawl, and a Marsh Flats.
Yeah, I'm down with this.
I am down with this as well.
Yeah, that works.
The only downside is we don't have any card draw, but we've got...
Well, there's a Timna at the table.
There's a
Timna at the table, and we've got a Gilded Drake.
That is true. That is true.
I'd be taking that Timna right off the bat. Yep. Like, Gilded Drake into that, like, Elvish Mystic, and start attacking with that to draw some cards.
Are you tucking the Dovin's Veto or the Utopia Sprawl?
We're keeping the Sprawl, aren't we?
Yeah, I don't know. The Veto, like, there's a counter, like, is a piece of interaction. I don't like to be completely naked.
I think we're tucking the Sylvan Tutor. Myself.
But they're not doing anything.
The Sylvan Tutor, however, I'd have a hard time getting rid of that because of being like a non-black deck.
That's true.
I'd get rid of the Utopia Sprawl. Like, I don't have a lot of tutors in this deck, and this is Hulk to the top of the library at sorcery speed.
Yeah.
So this is a game plan. I'm saying buy Utopia Sprawl because I already have an Elvish Mystic. I have 2 lands in hand, a Dork. I hypothetically have somebody else's Timna, and I've got a piece of interaction and a tutor in hand, and all I'm waiting for is something to come up to be able to snap the other piece of my Hulk combo off. I'd keep this.
Okay,
and
cool.
I'd say goodbye Utopia Sprawl.
All right.
That means I was 50% correct.
Okay. And so my thoughts is I would drop the... I'm just torn on Sprawl versus Mystic because Sprawl can hit other mana, but
you're stealing a Timna with the Gilded Drake.
Yeah, you're using the Mystic to get better. Card draw. Yep, right.
Theoretically better, anyways.
Theoretically,
for the purposes of turn 0 mulligan decisions, the Mystic is better.
Yep. All right. Sounds solid.
And that means like somebody else doesn't have a Timna. I can defend somebody if they try to take the Timna away from me with the Dovin's Veto. If they try to do something like to steal her back or kill her and just keep like them off their tempo, use their like I don't have access to a lot of things that a lot of decks take for granted in this. So like being able to offset somebody by taking their commander and using it against them I think is just is unkeep. Like I can't pass that up.
So we did have one comment from chat. Leptis, God bless him, said I'd bought him the VO and played table politics like crazy. That is a viable strategy.
If you're like Leptis, you can do that. If you're a normie like me, you probably can't.
No, I mean that is a solid option, because then that lets you do something like turn 1 Mystic, turn 2 tap the Mystic for sprawl on the land, and then you're actually pretty solid. That'll set you up for really solid.
I like this hand. This is definitely one to talk about. I was like, come on, deck, don't be that to me. Yeah. But there's a lot of fun in here. Like, at least this has a plan. This has some juice.
Yeah, I like that. All right,
good hand. Cool. So
we're literally away. We're one tutor away from Flash Hulk.
Yeah, I like it. Those are some good hands for you. Thank you, Hippo Hulk. I appreciate your assistance in making good content.
Yeah.
Yay.
Now we have upcoming events. There aren't upcoming events for us though. So
GP Portland is coming up. We did just pass. We did just pass the the Washington DC Command Fest. That was like last weekend. But I'm not going to be at Portland this year. I really wish I could be. It's just it's too much. And it's too close to Christmas. So I'm sorry.
Understandable.
Sorry, Portland.
There is an upcoming event that someone here can talk about, though.
Yeah. MF Toronto. It's not for a little bit. It's May 22nd. But if you're a CDH player, make it. I've booked out my own restaurant for a big old hootenanny for a Friday night, and then we're gonna have some fun. I was hooked on Vegas, and now it's just this is in my own backyard, and so it's gonna be fun. There are so many people that are coming so far. The end of the 99 or the 99 people are considering coming. Playing with Power is going to be there. I'm super stoked to see those guys again. Nice. We're in the backyard of Into the North, so they're all going to be there. I'm sure I'm forgetting some other people, but people are trying to the Spike Feeders are my guys. They're coming down. Bill,
that's awesome.
Elliot, Jim, Jan, we're making a push for Toronto CDH. And it's gonna be fun.
So you're gonna have a great Friday.
Oh, I actually booked the entire weekend off.
That's awesome.
I booked 2 weekends off, and I have no social life, so I booked 2 weekends off next year. One's Vegas, the other is Toronto. Awesome. My boss was just yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, you're taking days off. Thank God. Have a vacation, please.
Yeah. Well, and then I turn around and tell them hey, I know we don't take reservations. That's kind of our thing, but I might be filling up the restaurant with people.
Yeah. I took a break, but I'll still be here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be fine. But I'm looking forward to that. So if anybody can make it, try and make it. I want to have more CDH players than casual players, and just make everybody really fucking uncomfortable.
Perfect. Yeah, I plan to. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it out this year, but I am going to be planning for one of the next 2 or 3, because I am going to come and eat at your restaurant and play Magic with you in Toronto.
Yes.
But
yeah, you gotta.
It might be 2021.
We'll make it happen. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Where did Cameron go?
Moving during that GP.
Oh, there's Cameron.
Yeah. He was just doing a thing. So, as we close out, we always talk about something vaguely non-Magic related, at least. So, I am going to talk about something that is related to some of Nathan's interests.
Hey,
I got a whetstone for Christmas from.
Nice.
I say Christmas, but he gave it to me 2 weeks ago. So I've been slowly venturing more afield into being an adult and feeding myself with food. And turns out, when you're feeding yourself with food, you have to prepare these things called raw ingredients.
Yes.
So when you go to the grocery store, which is where they
look
food,
like this.
Oh my God! Do you have pictures of foods
on his hand.
Raw ingredients.
Oh yeah, all over there. Yeah. So when you buy food from a grocery store, it's like all broken into pieces. It's like Legos. It's not together, and you can't eat it. Well, you can eat some of it, but like you can't eat all of it. So you have to do things with metal to turn it into like cookie pieces, and you put it into these metal bowls, and you heat it, and then it turns into food at some point. And I haven't figured that part out yet. But
yeah, that's a way to explain it.
I'm figuring out the part where you smash metal into these things and it turns into prettier pieces that you can eat. So
yeah,
so you have to sharpen your knives, apparently.
Yeah, the people have problems with knives, and like, yeah, like you use it all the time, and like a sharp knife is the safest thing that you can ever use. Like, people worry that they're gonna like hurt themselves. It's like, you know, you're gonna hurt yourself on your blunt knife that's slipped, that you're pressing too hard into something, and all of a sudden it slides off and whacks you in the fucking finger, and then it's a ragged, nasty cut, and it takes forever to goddamn heal. I have.
Well, all right, then you can say my name, Jesus.
Sorry, I've been there. My hands are a goddamn wasteland, but like I've cut myself with my own knives and like thrown a Band-Aid on it, and it's been healed the next day because that's how fucking sharp they are.
Jeez.
Like,
nice. Yeah, when I cut myself, it's a sloppy, disgusting thing that takes like a week to heal properly because my knives were blunt as shit. Although, like, most of them are still blunt as shit because I'm only like starting to understand how to use the whetstone.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm a professional. What I do professionally. I am a professional user of tools. I am not a professional maintainer of those tools. I take my tools to a professional to have them professionally treated. And it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. As an amateur, I will amateurly do all of it.
Yeah.
So I will amateurly whetstone my knives and amateurly cut my food and amateurly cook it. But whetstones are cool. The sound they make is nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No,
and
it's
they're not actually that complicated. They're pretty cool. It's very nice. It's like, it's relaxing to just shred this knife. But,
yeah, it's a therapeutic experience. Like, throw an album on and just sit there and just like get to it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it so far. But that will be our time. Unfortunately, we are running into, well, the end of our stream. So, thank you, Nathan, for joining us. I had a great time. As always, it's excellent talking to you.
Thank you for being here. Like, I just want to say it's really great to literally be here and talking to you guys. Like, literally a year ago over my Christmas vacation, I discovered you guys and like the cEDH meta, and just being here now and talking to you is just kind of like a trip. So it's just like, sup.
I am glad.
Very much so. Thanks for joining us, Dan. Thanks for being here. Chat, thank you guys for being here as always. And anybody listening to us on any sort of podcast, thanks for joining.
Oh, someone needs to say goodbye.
Oh wait. Yes, we've got the dog tax. We must see her.
Oh! I'm pulling up my phone. I'm making bad content because I gotta see Meja.
Oh! He's trying to lift her up. Oh. So cute.
Cameron gets to see this ahead of us by 3 seconds. I'm watching like the rest of you.
Oh my gosh.
She's so cute.
Hello, everybody.
Oh wait. Are we doing this? Hold up. Give me a second. Fix it. Come here. Come here, dog. Come here, dog. Come here, dog. Come here, dog.
Uh-oh. The dog tax is real.
Oh. Here's mine. See, look over there. See, wave. Yeah. Hi. Oh, hello. All right. Okay. Yeah, you can just lick my face and I'll rub your belly. It's
Unfortunately, I do not have a dog to pull up onto my lap.
Oh, one day.
Unfortunately.
You can rub your own belly on. That's probably not a good idea. Never mind.
I did anyways. So, with that, thanks everybody. And
all right. See y'all later.
We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.